Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Here we go! Oh! Oh no! Oh my god! No way! Oh! It's Xavier Doom! Oh, look at these fights! Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to Let's Talk About It, the series where we talk about everything going on in the movie, TV, video game world. I'm your host, and we go over the topics that I'm interested in, topics that I really want to discuss with all of you, ladies and gentlemen, who watch this video. And guys, before we start this, please make sure you press subscribe. Just by pressing that button, you help us out immensely on our goal, on our road to 500 subscribers. We're almost there. We're at 406 right now. 406. If you subscribe just to come here and you want to like this series, do all what you want to do. It's your choice. And with all that out of the way, let's move on to our first topic here today. Nick Cage. Nick Cage, he's very much, not a guy who does a lot of big budget movies anymore. He does a lot of smaller films. One of the big things he is doing, though, was Spider-Man Noir, which is coming out, I believe, at the end of 2025. But he has played numerous characters in the superhero genre before. He was going to be Superman, but most notably, we all know Nick Cage in the superhero genre as Ghost Rider. Yes, Ghost Rider. And according to a new rumor, he might be coming back as the Spirit of Vengeance, according to thecomicmovie.com. Rumor, Ghost Rider star Nicolas Cage now said to be in final talks to return as the Spirit of Vengeance. Now, this does come from My Time to Shine, who he gets a lot of stuff wrong, but sometimes he does get things right. He is saying that Nick Cage is in active talks right now to reprise the role of Ghost Rider for Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. Now, this mostly, I think it's going to be Secret Wars. What I've said before is that Avengers Secret Wars is not just going to be the culmination of this phase of MCU. It's going to be the culmination of a legacy of Marvel. It's going to show us, before the MCU, we had numerous Marvel movies. We know some of those movies. Daredevil, Elektra, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Ghost Rider, Blade, a smattering of other characters where Marvel built this legacy with these other characters. And I think Ghost Rider is one of them. I do believe that this Secret Wars film is going to be the culmination of those legacy characters, giving these characters kind of a final send-off, for the audience and also maybe for the actors. Nick Cage, they tried to get Nick Cage to come back for Deadpool and Wolverine. He said no. I think because, maybe he didn't want to be in that type of movie, the Deadpool and Wolverine, because maybe it's R rating, maybe it's because he just didn't feel like doing that. I think if you put him in Avengers or Secret Wars, he's going to love that. I think audiences are honestly going to go crazy when they see him because, Nick Cage, you might want to say, Ghost Rider, his movies weren't the most, well-known movies, but they were still very good movies. Personally, I've actually never watched one. I'm thinking of doing the Ghost Rider movies as a reaction on the channel, but, I would really love to see this because I think, I've seen clips, of course, of movies, and, I would love to see him return as Johnny Blaze. And, of course, we have gotten Easter eggs in the past in Marvel, including in Agatha, where Jennifer Kale, who was the last surviving witch to survive the supposed Witch's Road, not to go into spoiler territory, and she survived, and she actually is related to Johnny Blaze in a way. So there's a chance for that to happen, but, who knows what's going to happen with this? Who knows if Nick Cage is actually coming back? But what do you guys think? Do you think Nick Cage will come back as the Spirit of Vengeance, Ghost Rider himself? Or do you think this is all just rumor and that's not going to happen? Leave comments down below. Let's move on to our second topic here today. The Batman universe is really, really going on right now. We got the Penguin going on. We got Batman Part 2 coming in 2025. 2026, actually, to be more precise. But, as the Batman introduced us to the Penguin, to the Riddler, to the Falcons, another person was revealed in that movie, and that was Joker, played by Barry Keoghan, who is a terrific actor himself. He's been in a lot of great things. He was in Eternals. He was, what's the name of the movie? He was in The Banshees of Inisherin, a Oscar-nominated film. Saltburn, he's a very, very, right-winged actor. And, and of course, after the Batman came out, they released that deleted scene with the Joker. But apparently, we're not done seeing the Joker because he might be coming back. According to thecomicmovie.com, Barry Keoghan's Joker rumored for spin-off series before returning as the Batman Part 3's main villain. Now, I believe this is all rumored. This is according to Jeff Snyder. Jeff Snyder, he's one of the more reliable scoopers out there. He gets a lot of things right. He has a lot of insider knowledge what's going on. This is what Jeff Snyder said. Jeff Snyder has also heard that there are big plans for Keoghan's Joker and believes a solo series in the same thing as Penguin is highly likely. I would watch the hell out of this series, guys. I think this is a terrific idea because we've had so much Joker. We've had the Joker films. We've had which I'm not the biggest fan of those Joker movies, especially Part 2. I wasn't a big fan of Joker Part 2. But, Joker, is iconic. Joker has gotten people 2 Oscar wins. He's one of the most iconic villains ever. And, the version Barry Keoghan played in that scene was like, I want to see more of this character. I was intrigued. I want to see Robert Pattinson and Barry Keoghan going up against each other. And, if it's a series, I think, in the same vein as the Penguin, as Jeff Snyder is saying, that would be really, really cool to see. Imagine this. We finish Batman Part 2. We get a spin-off series of the Joker. Maybe the Joker breaks out of Arkham somehow in Batman Part 2. We kind of follow him as he's kind of setting Gotham afire, setting the criminal world on fire. You can even have Penguin in that show as well. Maybe even Paul Dano's Riddler as well. Then you go to Batman Part 3 where he is this huge, huge threat, the final threat that Batman has to beat, the last straw, You could even go, if it's possible, because we still don't know a whole lot about Batman Part 2. We could have a Robin, we could have a Jason Todd in Batman Part 2, and they can make Batman Part 3 the Killing Joke. Or you can do Batman Part 3, as Under the Red Hood. There's so many possibilities with Joker, The one thing I love about Matt Reeves' Batman universe is that Gotham is not just a place, it is a character in its film. When I watched The Batman, that was the first time where I was like, this is the Gotham I saw in the comics. Of course, we've had newest Gotham, so I thought Tim Burton's Gotham was very comic booky, very more colorful. I wasn't a huge fan, actually, of his Gotham. Then you go to Christopher Nolan's. Christopher Nolan's Gotham was very much more realistic, more like a New York, Chicago. And then we got to see Gotham a little bit in the DCU, but not much, so we can really find an identity of that place. But with the Batman, the city is so much as a character as Batman itself. Even in the Penguin, Gotham feels like a character in that show. With all the things going on around it. And, I love this Batman universe. I think, if the rumors they are true when Zaslav wants Pattinson in James Gunn's new DCU, I think that's a huge mistake. I love that we have this separate Batman universe where we can explore these characters, explore stories like the Penguin, possibly explore stories with Paul Dano's Joker again, possibly explore the Joker, Barry Keoghan's Joker. I love this world that Matt Reeves is creating over there. This Elseworlds Batman universe. It's so fun to see, and it's such a different tone from what James Gunn would do. I think because James Gunn's universe seems like to be an uplifting universe. With hope, with heroes, with people looking up to heroes. Where the Batman's world is very much more grounded, but also has some comic book features as well. In there as well. So I don't really think Pattinson would fit in there. But the main story here is Joker. Would I want to see Joker played by Barry Keoghan get his own series? Yes, I would. Because I don't think it would be smart to do a movie. I know a lot of people will be like, why not just do a Joker movie? Well, guys, we just had a Joker 2. And that really, I think, soured the character Joker a bit. Because people watched that and they're like, what the F did I just watch? People did not like that film. Then you say, okay, we're going to do a new Joker movie. You're like, oh my gosh, another one? I don't know. I didn't really like Joker 2. I don't know if I'm going to see it. I think a series is a better idea. Even though Barry Keoghan is a great, world-class actor, I think a series would give him more time to flesh out this character. discover the origins of this Joker. What drives him, what makes him the clown prince of crime. And if he is going to be the Batman Part 3 villain, I think this is going to be a tremendous, tremendous end to the trilogy. Because I think, how do you end the trilogy? How do you end the trilogy? You put Batman against his biggest villain, the Joker. But what do you guys think? Apparently, Joker is going to be having a bigger theme but at the tail end of this Batman series. But this is all rumor, guys. All rumor. Leave your comments down below. And let's move on to our third topic here today. And that is this. Fallout. I am a huge fan of the Fallout series. But I was a bit late to the game series. I watched the first 3 episodes when they released. And then I kind of dropped off a little bit. And then I picked it back up. And I absolutely loved the series. It was such an entertaining series. Nominated at the Emmys for Best Drama. Having breakout stars for Ella Purnell, Walton Goggins. Such a great show. I've never played the games, but I love the series. But we know we got Season 2 coming. Season 2 is coming of Fallout. And we just got announced by Deadline of a cast member who I'm very excited to see in the show. According to Deadline, Fallout, Macaulay Culkin joins Season 2 of Prime Video series. Now, I am a huge Home Alone fan. I watched Home Alone like all the time when I was a kid. I love Home Alone. I still watch it during Christmas season to this day. I love that film, and I love Macaulay Culkin. Not just for how good he is as an actor. I think he doesn't get as much recognition as he does when he used to. I think he's still a really great actor. But, I honestly, love him also just as, being married to Brenda Song. He's such a supportive husband. He's talked about so much that he wouldn't be able to get through these years in his life without his wife, Brenda Song. And, he recently just got a star on the Walk of Fame. I am so excited to see him join this series. I think, thinking about it, this is a perfect series to put Macaulay Culkin in, Personally, I haven't seen a lot of Macaulay Culkin stuff since Home Alone, Of course, he has been in other stuff according to this article. He was in an animated series at Prime Video called The Second Best Hospital in the Galaxy. He was also in American Horror Story. He also had a little role in The Righteous Gemstones, so he hasn't really been in anything big. This is a big thing for him because you're joining an Emmy-nominated series based on a very, very popular video game. And, it's saying that his character, Culkin said that he's playing a crazy genius. So, I'm like, okay, is Culkin going to be set up as, kind of the new arching threat? But it could also be that Macaulay Culkin could be playing the mastermind behind the vault. While we were watching the series, we discovered a lot about Walton Goggins' character, the Ghoul, and his origin. And he worked for Vault Tech, this huge company that built these vaults. But we never really saw the true CEO, the founder of this company. Maybe Macaulay Culkin is playing that character, which I think would be perfect for him. I've never seen Macaulay Culkin play a villainous role. I think I look at him and I'm like, I could really see Macaulay Culkin playing a villain. And if this season is as good as season 1, I think we're in for one hell of a ride. But guys, what do you think about this? Macaulay Culkin joins Fallout, the Prime Video series for season 2. Leave comments down below, and let's move on to our fourth topic here today. Star Wars. Oh, Star Wars, Star Wars. I have very, very bad history with Star Wars. At times, I love them, but at times, I just want to. And they've announced so much stuff. Well, apparently, they're not done announcing stuff because they just got to be in the headlines. According to Variety, we got a new sequel trilogy coming from X-Men alum Simon Kinberg. According to Variety, new Star Wars trilogy in the works from X-Men alum Simon Kinberg. Now, let's talk about this. I don't know really how to feel about this because, the sequel trilogy was met in the beginning with a lot of love. People were starting to love it with Force Awakens. Then it just went downhill from there. And now we're at a point of Star Wars where it's not real. We don't get excited when we hear the name Star Wars anymore. And, no, I don't hear anyone asking. No one is asking for a new trilogy. But the interesting thing about this to me is that you got Simon Kinberg. Now, I am a really big fan of Simon Kinberg, probably because of what he's done with X-Men. He wrote almost every single one of those X-Men films. He wrote two of my favorite comic book movies of all time. Logan and X-Men Days of Future Past. Two of my favorite comic book movies of all time. But it's also had some misses with Dark Phoenix. He worked on that Invasion show on Apple, which was really... I was not into that series. So he's had some misses. But he's also had some really big ones. And, I don't know why they're just announcing this now. Because when we hear new Star Wars is announced, we always get this first, like, okay, you announced Star Wars. 5 months from now, you're going to get with, like, a Rey situation where it's like, oh, we have a writer, we don't have a writer. That's the thing that's, like, really, really scary about this. But I'd say this feels a bit different to me because this is a trilogy. Like, a new episode 10, 11, and 12. A point in Star Wars where you can kind of tell your own new history in Star Wars. And what I've heard from a lot of people is that this man, Simon Kinberg, is the biggest Star Wars nut you will see. He loves this genre. And that's what I think Star Wars has been missing. We've had a lot of creators from the Star Wars who I feel like have felt like Star Wars is just a stepping stone in their career. They're like, oh, I'll do Star Wars because it'll look good on future stuff I want to make. Take The Acolyte. I never really thought that Leslie Headland, the showrunner of that show, took it seriously. I think a lot of these... I want us to be excited about this property. This is freaking Star Wars. One of the most iconic franchises in the history of movies. And we haven't had a movie with them since 2019. We're getting a Mandalorian and Grogu movie. But I'm wondering, is this going to happen? First off, we got to think about it. Is this Star Wars film going to happen? Personally right now, until I see cameras rolling and people on set, I'm going to take this with a grain of salt saying this movie is not happening. If we get to a point where we see cameras rolling, I will say, alright, maybe this is going to happen. Maybe it's going to happen. Am I excited for it? I'm excited with the potential this has. A new trilogy. I think Disney and Lucasfilm really, really messed up the first sequel trilogy with Daisy Ridley and J.J. Abrams. They really messed that up. I think this could possibly be a chance to redeem them if they get the right people involved. The thing with Star Wars right now is that I think they should do what DC's doing. And what DC's doing is they're just starting from scratch. They're like, okay, our universe was not working. Let's move into a new universe with new people running it, I do also think it's time for Kathleen Kennedy to leave. Kathleen Kennedy, one of the greatest producers of all time. Steven Spielberg says she is the greatest producer of all time. Well, just because you're a great producer doesn't mean you know shit about running a freaking studio. She doesn't know what she's doing. Maybe there's a plan. Maybe there is a plan out there that she has written. Maybe there's a plan that she has. But with everything we've seen since the rise of Skywalker, I don't know how to feel. She's turning... My problem is that she's turning Star Wars into a TV property when clearly Star Wars is meant to be seen on the big screen. Shows like Obi-Wan. Why couldn't we get an Obi-Wan movie? Why couldn't it be a show? Obi-Wan is one of the most popular Star Wars characters. He made a freaking show that wasn't really that good about him. It just baffles me that why are they having such a hard time getting Star Wars right? And also, I think Dave Filoni also has a part to play in this as well. I like Dave Filoni. I really, really love Dave Filoni. And I know a lot of people's like, he should be the new head of Lucasfilm. I'm like, no, because Dave Filoni, he knows Star Wars. He was George Lucas's, George Lucas chose him as his next right hand. But guys, gotta remember, he has had a lot of misses. Of course, people go like, what do you mean? Mandalorian. There's been Star Wars Rebels, Clone Wars. I'm like, okay. Two of those animated properties, which are very, very different. Animated shows are a lot more different than doing a live-action property. And first off, Season 1 and Season 2 of Mandalorian were really good. Season 3 really bit the bucket. And then you go to Ahsoka. Ahsoka was not good. The reason is because Dave Filoni was directly involved with that. He directed episodes on that show. And what he did with that show is he thought everyone watching Ahsoka watched his anime stuff. Watched Rebels. Watched Clone Wars. I watched that show with my family. My parents were like, "Who's this? Who's that? Who's this Ezra? Who's her?" Me and my brother had to explain to them who these characters were. If you're doing a show about a character, you shouldn't have to explain these things. You should be able to tell a story that makes the audience be like, okay, I understand this person. I understand what's going on. I don't think a lot of people understood what's actually happening in that series. You know, and I think Simon Kinberg, I'm excited because he wrote, like I said, my two favorite superhero movies of all time, but he's had misses. But guys, I don't know what to think about this. Do you think this is a good idea? Do you think this trilogy is going to happen 6 months down the line? And what point do you believe this is actually real? When they have cameras rolling, or when you see a first trailer? Leave your comments down below, and let's move on to our final topic here today, and that is this, guys. Oh, one of my favorite video games of all time, probably my favorite series of video games of all time, is Mass Effect. I love this series to a right where almost every year during Christmas time, I go plug in my Xbox, load up Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and play through the first 3 games. I think at least the second game is like some of the best storytelling video games I have seen a while. And they really transformed the gaming experience, They were the first ones to announce, to kind of do like different story options where you as a character could choose your story by interacting with the characters. You can choose who you want to fall in love with the game. You can choose what type of hero you want to be. You want to be the good old Captain America type character, or do you want to be the bad boy, who makes all the bad decisions in greater good of yourself or humanity. It is a brilliant series. And I've told myself for a long time, this series would kill as a movie or TV series. It just matters who you get to work on it. Well, guys, finally it's happened. According to Variety, Mass Effect TV series in the works at Amazon from Fast and Furious 9 writer. Yes, it is official. Mass Effect is coming to Amazon. And first off, let's talk about the Amazon. I think of all the studios you could have chosen, Amazon's the perfect choice because they have experience with the video game genre. Look at Fallout, Emmy-nominated series. They got God of War coming with the guy who did Battlestar Galactica. And in a way, I think Mass Effect could be on the level of a Battlestar Galactica. Guys, you don't know how excited I am for this series. And of course, the one more you have. This is done by a guy who did Fast and Furious 9, which I regard as the worst Fast and Furious 9 movie made. But he's also done other stuff. He's worked on films like Kid. Kid, I remember watching that movie. It was I thought it was a good movie. But he also worked on rewrites on 10 Cloverfield Lane. That kind of gives me hope because 10 Cloverfield Lane, it might not be the most popular Cloverfield movie, but the writing, that movie was really, really good. It was over 90% Rotten Tomatoes. It was really good. And of course, you also have another guy joining this in Jeff Loeb. Jeff Loeb has the experience with TV. He's working as, as an executive. I think he's working as like the executive producer probably. But he's worked on shows. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, The Punisher, Legion. He was the main guy working on the Marvel television unit at Marvel. That just gives me more confidence. A guy who worked on Daredevil, The Punisher, Legion, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage. All great shows. I want this to be great because the story of this, if you guys want to get down, probably some of you don't know the story of this game. So I'm going to tell you my paraphrased version of the Mass Effect story. The game follows Commander Shepard. Commander Shepard is this kind of really, all-class soldier who can kind of do anything. He is sent on to this planet to, and most stuff like that is being attacked by aliens, but they don't know why. And he comes in contact with this artifact set up by this really ancient civilization. He touches it, and he knows all this knowledge now. He knows that this threat called the Reapers. The Reapers are this like AI species who wipe out civilizations every few million years. And his goal in this first game is to is to convince all the alien species that this threat is coming, while also trying to combat this evil man named Saren. Saren is this guy who works for the Reapers, but he also is what you call a Spectre. A Spectre in the Mass Effect universe is someone who is employed by the Council, who are like these groups of aliens who like kind of like the government in this alien universe, and they let these Spectres, they have the authority to do what they have to do. They're kind of like, your Spectre, do what you have to do whatever you have to do, and have all these ways of trying to clear out the galaxy of the biggest threats in the universe. So they make Commander Shepard the first human Spectre, and his job is to stop the coming threat. And, of course, the 2 and 3 go into more about the Reaper invasion, but it is such a great game franchise. It is one of my favorites, and I am so unbelievably excited. Now, of course, you got Commander Shepard. In the game, you can choose male or female version of Shepard. I think for the canon, the male version is the canon version, because on all the game covers and all the trailers, they're always showing the male Shepard. My pick to play this character is a alumni who loves video games, who has starred in so many great franchises, Henry Cavill. If they get Henry Cavill to play this guy, if they get Henry Cavill to play Shepard, I will be like, this series off the right track. Now, this series will not be coming for a number of years, because it says it's in the works. That means it's in development. But this has been the most excited I have been for a show in a long time, because I love Mass Effect. It is my favorite video game franchise of all time. Yes, I'm saying it. My favorite video game franchise of all time. And, it's up there, tied with franchises like Resident Evil, franchises like Final Fantasy. I love this game franchise. And I think this series could be, the next... I'm going to say it. It could be the next Dune, in my opinion, because it's such rich... It's a Shakespearean story in space, It is Shakespeare in space with how they tell the stories. It's dramatic. There's humor. There's amazing action. I think when the series comes out, it's going to surprise a lot of people. I'm going to say it now. This series is going to be amazing. Put it on a poster. Put it right now. Infinity Reaction said, this series is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to watch the hell out of this series. I cannot wait for it to come out. But guys, what do you think about this? Mass Effect is coming to Amazon from the writer of Fast and Furious 9 and being executively produced by Jeff Loeb, who had a lot to do with Marvel Television, including Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones, and even Legion as well. Leave your comments down below. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like on the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you just keep enjoying our content. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.